Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Monday, the 11th of November, 2024. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 finished down 0.35% today to 8,266 points. An underwhelming response to Chinese government stimulus over the weekend sent the price of iron ore lower, and the big miners followed. Fortescue Metals Group finished down more than 7%. BHP was off 4%. Rio Tinto was down 3%. The best of the large caps were Goodman Group, the industrial property company, WiseTech Global and REA Group. Incitec Pivot's share price jumped slightly, 0.3%, despite recording a $311 million loss in the year to the end of September. The loss was due to the impairment of the group's fertiliser business, which it's been trying to sell for quite some time now. DP World Australia made a bid for a small cap business called Silk Logistics. Its share price jumped 40%, and PE Group Genesis Capital upped its bid for dental company Pacific Smiles. Story number 2, the latest news poll shows that primary support for the coalition federally is rising, and opposition leader Peter Dutton is getting closer but still remains behind Anthony Albanese as preferred Prime Minister. The poll for The Australian says the coalition's primary vote has risen 2 percentage points to 40%. That means coalition can be competitive in the next election due in the middle of May. Now, ALP's primary vote is also up 2% to about 33%, but they get many of the preferences from the Greens. Hence, the coalition needs to be well in front of ALP on the primary vote. Broadly, the news poll shows a drop in support to independents and minor parties, places like One Nation. On a two-party preferred basis, it's 51 to 49% to the coalition. And in terms of the preferred Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese is at 45% and Peter Dutton, 41%. Story number 3, more details have emerged over the detention of Resolute Mining's CEO in Mali. Terry Holohan and 2 executives were arrested on Friday. They were detained by the country's Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes Unit. In a statement yesterday, Resolute Mining said the executives were in Mali, and I quote, to hold discussions with the mining and tax authorities regarding general activities related to the company's business practices in Mali, in addition to progressing open claims which have been made against Resolute and which the company maintains are unsubstantiated, end quote. The Australian is reporting that the Mali government may want between $75 million and $250 million from Resolute Mining. Malian President Assimi Goïta, who has just promoted himself to 5-star general status, has introduced a new mining code that allows the state to acquire up to 30% of projects and requires all foreign companies to renegotiate existing contracts. It sounds like Mr. Holohan has been caught up in that. Story number 4, struggling battery minerals group Liontown Resources is scaling back production plans at its Kathleen Valley lithium mine in Western Australia. Just 3 months after opening the operation, the company has cut its production plans and in 2 years' time will be producing about 2/3 the amount of lithium it had forecast on the back of tumbling lithium prices. CEO Tony Ottaviano said when market conditions change, companies need to adapt. Hence, that's what they're doing. He said he wants to focus on higher margin lithium. The Gina Rinehart-backed Liontown has offtake deals with Ford and Tesla and South Korea's LG Energy. Its share price rose 1% on the news, but it's off about 50% so far this year. And story number 5, the Washington Post is reporting that Donald Trump has spoken to Vladimir Putin and urged the Russian president not to escalate the war in Ukraine. It's the first call between the two men since the US poll last week. The Washington Post is saying that Mr. Trump reminded Mr. Putin of the US's sizable military presence in Europe. Trump discussed the goal of peace on the European continent, and he expressed an interest in follow-up conversations. He has also spoken to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Apparently, in that call, Elon Musk joined in. Not sure why. That's it for the afternoon report for Monday, the 11th of November, 2024. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook. Join Adam Lang and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.